Welcome to episode 15 of Around the Book podcast, where we're going to be discussing week 14 of NFL and then Army, Navy in college and a few FCS games just to get us over until college football playoffs start. How'd everyone do last week? Anyone have anything that stuck out to them last weekend? Anything they were happy or disappointed in with their bets?
It was a pretty solid week. The Chargers shut out the Patriots, and they still didn't cover. So it's probably the last time I bet on them. But
you cannot bet. Like the Chargers are just so unreliable. They're the most unreliable team to bet on in existence.
Yeah,
on paper they should be like one of the best teams in the league, and they just I don't know.
Because they have the worst coach in the NFL.
Yeah.
Right? Like they do.
True.
Like he is so terrible.
Yeah.
Like it's awful. But yeah, I have my worst weekend of in a while, probably at least in the last month. I went 1-3.
Yeah.
My only pick that hit was kind of like not fair too, because it was that Washington plus 9.5, which that was free money.
Yeah. That
was like,
yeah. Let's talk about that game for a minute. That had I think all Vegas, they just, I don't know what they assumed in Oregon, because they got taken for a ride. There's you had to be stupid not to take the points.
Yeah. I mean, I would have handicapped that game at maybe 3.5, maybe -4.5. Even -5.5 would have been you're really bullish on Oregon.
Yeah.
-9.5 is just insane.
Yeah.
It was insane to think that Oregon was gonna win that game by double digits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it just made the money line even more sweet to hit that at plus 285. I don't know what they were thinking. They had way too much faith in Oregon.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. It's hard to beat a team twice. Oregon has looked like the better team.
Mm-hmm.
Had been looking like the better team at that point as of late. But man, it's Team Washington had already beaten, and they, it was at worst it was going to be a close game. It just made sense.
Yeah. What's up, JT?
Hey, how's everyone doing?
Good. How's how's last weekend for you on your bets? You have anything you were happy about or excited about?
Last weekend was pretty solid. 3-1. My only loss was Albany, who was close in their game right up until the fourth quarter, and they fumbled the ball, got returned for a touchdown, and kind of became a little bit of a blowout after that. But
yeah,
no, this was a fairly good week for me overall.
Good. All right. Jake, do you have anything else on your weekend?
Not much. I think I went 2-1-1 with the push, so I can't.
Oh yeah.
I went 2-0 in college, so we're getting that record up a little bit. So
yeah,
I'm pretty thrilled about that.
Yeah, I told you, dude. I jinxed you 2 weekends ago when we did the Ohio State together.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, good. Yeah, I think I went 2-2. Hit on the Washington money line. I forgot what my other college bet, but it was Louisville -2.5, and they look like garbage against Florida State. And I don't know if you guys want to get into the whole college football playoff debacle, or I'm sure everyone has their own take, and we've heard a million of them already.
Does anyone here really think that Florida State shouldn't have been in?
No, but I would like to take this moment to congratulate everyone on your respective national championships this year. Penn State, national champions, good job. Central Michigan, national champions, good job. We can all lay claim to it because college football has told us results on the field do not matter. Pick a champion, it's subjective.
So I do think FSU should have got a chance, but do you think Florida State was going to beat Michigan or Washington?
I think
Fine.
Washington's the worst team in it. I don't Washington. If put Florida State in.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll
I
see
think
when they play Georgia.
Washington would have
Yeah,
been an
we'll see. I
interesting
think
2-3 matchup. That would have been
Yeah.
an interesting 2-3 matchup.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I see why they did it, but I also think they should have had a chance. So I'm just on the fence about it.
My favorite thing that I saw was the Florida governor like setting aside $1 million.
Yeah.
That's my favorite conspiracy with the
Yeah.
Disney owning the playoff and all that. That's my favorite. That's
Yeah.
my favorite part of it.
The political fallout has been objectively hilarious.
Yeah.
Like this is like legitimately impacting like presidential careers.
Yes.
Somehow, and the chaos of it makes me laugh as someone who's not invested in Florida football.
Yeah, the committee really wanted Louisville to win that game.
They
really
did.
They really wanted that.
I think everyone thought that was going to happen,
Yeah.
and
Because-
it just made the committee's decision harder.
The saddest thing that I heard, the worst one was the Jordan Travis tweet. Do you guys see that where he said,
Yeah.
I wish I would have broken my leg
Yeah.
earlier?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the part where it really hits home. It's like
Yeah.
basically what happened though. They punished Florida State for him going down late in the season.
Yeah, it's BS. It really
Yeah.
is. There's no way to spin it where it isn't an absolute screw job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you go undefeated and you win your Power 5 conference. I don't see how. I mean, there's literally nothing else that they could have done.
Yeah.
I mean, think back to like what was it, week 1, where they held the Heisman quarterback and probably the Biletnikoff wide receiver, the two of the best players in the country. They held that offense to like 20 points in that game. So,
Yeah.
Quarterback going down, that's a big deal. But this is an elite Florida State defense.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
you're telling me a Florida State defense like that, who can win in the trenches, can't compete for a national championship? That's how Saban won like 5 national championships.
And they
Yeah.
also have a running back that's probably going to be a top 50 or 60 pick
Yeah.
in the draft. Benson's probably going to be a second round pick.
Yeah, and a wide receiver who's going top 20 and another one who's probably going to go in the second or third round. So whoever the quarterback is, he's got weapons to throw to.
And it wouldn't have been the guy we saw this past week either. It would have been Rodemaker. Is that how you say it?
I don't know.
And he's like, he's going to be starting for them next year, I think, isn't he?
I don't know.
think
Can
so.
Travis come back?
Or if Travis comes back. But eventually, he's eventually going to be a major college football quarterback somewhere. He's not a nobody. He was a highly touted recruit.
Yeah. And what sucks is I think this is the matchups that everyone wanted, which is why I think we were all rooting for Louisville because, I think these are the 4 teams we wanted to see in it. But not like this. This ruins it for me.
Yeah.
I would have been very content to not see an SEC team in the playoff.
Yeah.
I was actually excited. I think
Yeah.
this would have to be the first time with no SEC
Yeah, it would
team,
be.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's the path I laid out last week, the no SEC championship.
Yeah.
And everything happened, and college football said, F you guys, we are in bed with the SEC. We make $30 million a game from them. So they're getting in.
Yep.
Shout out Arizona Iced Tea.
Yeah. We're going to get sponsored one day. One day.
All right. So let's go ahead and get into our picks for this week. We'll start off with the very skinny NCAA slate that we have this week or this weekend. It's a lot of FCS games and obviously Army, Navy. Some would argue probably one of the better rivalries in college football, but notorious low-scoring game. So I went with a parlay with Army money line, their favorite, but I took the over 28.5, which is disgusting. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I'm just feeling the vibes for it. But when you parlay those together, I did this yesterday. It was at plus 201. and it's Army money line and the over 28.5 points. We'll see what happens. The over, we're going to be in for a wild ride. I think we're going to sweat this whole game for that over. We'll see what happens. And then I went to the FCS here, went with Villanova money line. This is at plus 850. I've had a lot of good luck with my underdogs this year.
Good pick.
I'm going for a freaking Hail Mary here. They're going against South Dakota State. When I placed this bet, it was yesterday, and it was at plus 850. Today, it's at plus 750, so it is going down quick and by a lot. This is a pure vibes pick. I'm riding on the underdog train again, plus 850. I need some, like I had week 1 vibes, week 0 college football vibes on this one.
You know, Villanova is a national championship contender year in or year out in basketball, so why not football too? Let's roll with that.
Give it a shot.
And then, betting the over in a service academy game. I mean, absolute ironclad rule of law is you always bet the under.
Yeah,
so naturally, I'm going to support this over pick.
Yeah, you got to fade. You got to fade the public on this one.
Yep, I'm fully with you. That's actually one of my picks this week for my lock of the week. I'm going over 2. I'm breaking the ironclad law, the never break this law. I'm breaking it. And I'm not going to get on the money line for either team because honestly, I have no idea who's going to win this game. This game is going to be a slop fest of epic proportions, and I'm so here for it. But, I could see this being a 17-20 game. I could see a 2 in front of one of these scores. So I'm going to take like 31 points. That feels real to me. So I'm going over. Yeah. I've got 28.5. I've seen 27.5.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I can get 27.5, I'll definitely take the over on that.
Yeah.
26.5. I could see it keep going down because it's Service Academy. So that's my lock, which, limited options this week's for locks.
Yeah.
And then my dog is I'm taking Albany plus 4.5 over. Who is Albany? Idaho. They're playing Idaho. Albany actually has a quarterback. He's thrown for 33 touchdowns this year, over 3,000 yards. These are 2 good, FCS offenses. But I'm going to take the quarterback. You're giving me the better quarterback. You're giving me points. I'm always signing up for that play. So I'm taking Albany plus 4.5 over. Is it the Vandals? The Idaho Vandals?
Yeah. I like it. I think Idaho's a little overrated. So
it'll be the first time Idaho's ever been overrated.
That's true.
They used to be in FBS, weren't they?
Yes.
in the WAC?
I just rebooted my college football NCAA 09, and they're in that game, and they are the worst team in that game.
Yeah, they were not good. Oh. All right, so continuing on, I like a lot of your picks, JT and Casey. I'm kind of following along with the Navy picks. I'm also taking the over. I did get the over at 27.5. I did get it when it was still at 27.5. And I got it at minus 110. And I'm also taking Navy money line at plus 124. Parlayed together, they are plus 305.
Nice.
And yeah, I really like Navy to win this game. I mean, on paper, these are 2 pretty even teams, with one really key distinction. And that is when you look at the turnover differential. Army has one of the worst turnover differentials in the country. They are 102nd in the country this year at -5 turnover differential. And Navy has actually the third, despite being 5-6, they have the 3rd best turnover differential in the country at +13. In what's going to be a tough, close game, I can see that being the difference. I think it'll be enough for Navy to win this game. And as far as the total goes, you guys talked about it a lot. Like, it's really low. You kind of have to take the over. I mean, a 17-14 game still hits the over comfortably. Heck, even those of you that have 28.5, 16-13 hits.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's too good to pass up.
Even
Real one-
Iowa fans are looking at the game and saying, "Damn, that's a low total."
Yeah. Real one's taking that over 28.5, Dalton. You got to do the alternate runner line.
Hey, that just means you got on it smart.
Point.
Yeah.
But yeah, watch it'll still be like it'll get to 27.
Yeah.
That'll be the total.
Nice
It'll be
14-13 game.
Yeah.
2-0.
Yeah.
It'll be ugly.
Yeah.
But we'll watch it, and we'll sweat out that over. But I think it'll hit.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my picks for the week. I do not have an FCS pick this week. I haven't been able to find any odds.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm also betting the Army-Navy game. We've talked about this a bit, so I'm not going to get too far into it. But as has been said, it's going to be a slugfest, and it's going to be close. And so I'm going to take Navy money line at plus, I think I got it, plus 120. It's going to be an ugly, close game. I might as well take the better odds.
Yeah.
And then for my underdog, I got an FCS bet. I think this is my first of the podcast. I'm going to go with Villanova at plus 20.5 against South Dakota State. Last week, my alma mater, Sacramento State, played South Dakota in the playoffs, and they had probably the worst start possible. I think they had a fumble that got returned for a TD from like midfield, and then they threw a pick six all in the first quarter. They ended up being down like 24-7 after the first quarter. And South Dakota, so they basically had the game handed to them at home, and they let Sac State come back throughout the game. I think they only won by about 10, but they really were not able to put them away after having the game pretty much handed to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Villanova's a lot better than Sac State is. So I think with a South Dakota State team that I think this is their first time in the playoffs in a while. They seemed a little inexperienced last week. I think with how good Villanova is, 20.5 is a lot of points. So you can lose by 2 touchdowns and a field goal and still cover. So I'm going to go with that for my underdog.
Be honest. Is there a little bit of spite mixed in with that pick?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, then I fully support.
But if they came out and didn't give up 2 touchdowns while having the ball in the first quarter, they probably win that game. But 20.5 is a lot for a team that didn't look that great last week.
Yeah, I like it. Hopefully they win outright, and we'll all be happy. So let's move on to the ever-approaching end of the NFL season in Week 14. And I'm going to start off with a bet that I'm kind of shocked at this, actually. It's Texans. This is my lock of the week. It's Texans minus 5.5 at minus 112. And they're playing the Jets this week. Who's going to play quarterback for the Jets? Like,
not Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson doesn't want to play quarterback for the Jets. Like,
is he not playing? Is he like fully?
He is playing.
I think he is, but
they announced it today. Yeah,
not that willingly.
Like, yeah, like that's crazy. And even without Tank Dell, like the Texans with Stroud, like electric, like crazy. How I don't know. I'm so happy an Ohio State quarterback's finally able to come into the league and do something. But yeah, I'm gonna take Texans minus 5.5 at this. Lock that in. I think even today I looked at it and it's minus 3.5. So I don't know why it's going down that low. So I'm probably gonna buy in again at minus 3.5. And then I'm going to go for my underdog. This is another big swing. I have Titans money line at plus 610. They're playing the Dolphins. The Dolphins have looked great this year. but it's the Dolphins in December. They're going to have some sort of notorious collapse. It's in Miami, which I like this pick even more for some reason. I love that it's in Miami. Give me the Titans over the Dolphins. Freaking, I don't know what's going to happen. The freaking Titans are going to look like they did a few years ago. They're going to be clicking. They're going to take down the Dolphins somehow, plus 610. I'm going to start to update my units in the NFL, try to break even before the year ends, and this is how it starts.
You know what part of that pick I really like?
All of it.
The Dolphins' defense stinks.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry could absolutely run wild in this game. Will Levis, he can have some wild swings in both directions, but against a bad defense, he could put up some big numbers. So I can get on board with that pick. I don't know if I'll roll with that pick because the Dolphins offense scares the crap out of me.
Yeah.
But, I could see this being a shootout, and whoever doesn't turn the ball over wins.
Yeah.
And that brings me to my lock of the week, which is the over in that same game, which is a shockingly low 46.5.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The Dolphins could put up 46 in this game.
Yeah.
They scored 70 this year, and the Titans defense, I talked about how bad the Dolphins defense is. The Titans defense is terrible too.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, Derrick Henry, Tua. I'm looking for fireworks in this game, so I'm taking a comfortable over 46.5.
Yeah.
It kind of scares me a little bit because it's one of those things where Vegas always knows something. So if a line looks wrong, it usually is. Kind of scary. I get that same kind of fear with that Texans vibe that you're rolling with. It feels like it's going in the wrong direction and it's free money, and it always surprises you when that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think in any Dolphins game right now, over 50 is pretty safe.
Yeah.
Logically, I agree. But it's one of those things like Vegas always knows. What do they know?
Yeah, true.
But I'm just going to follow my logic. I can't argue the sense of these two picks. So I'm taking over 46.5 there. And then my underdog. Who was my underdog this week? Oh, that's right. Eagles plus 3.5. They're on the road. So Cowboys are getting 3 points there. Eagles just got absolutely steamrolled by the 49ers, which should not be surprising to anybody because the 49ers are an absolute freight train. And it's okay. It's okay. The Eagles can be the second best team in the NFC and still whoop on the Cowboys and not be as good as the Niners. So I really think the Eagles are comfortably better than Dallas. And getting points, even on the road, I trust that defense. I trust those trenches. I'm going Eagles with plus points.
Interesting. It's funny, we were just talking about this game on right before you joined today about just the way the NFC East works. That's what worries me about that game is the way the NFC East works. I could see Dallas winning that game and somehow winning the division.
Well, it's always someone different who wins the division.
That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the scary thing about that division. Because I can see the Eagles going on a run, but finishing second in the division.
Yeah. I mean, what uncomfortable situation do we want to be in? Yeah. Betting on a repeat division winner or betting on the Cowboys not to blow it?
Yeah.
It's tough. But
do you guys see those rumors about McCarthy? Mm-hmm. That he could be gone very soon.
Really?
Yeah. And they would just promote Dan Quinn.
Retiring gone?
No, getting the axe.
I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't love McCarthy, but is this really the time to be having that conversation?
I think in Jerry's brain, it's what is the difference between going from him to Dan Quinn right now?
Yeah.
It can't really get worse to go to Dan Quinn, I guess is the idea, considering Dan Quinn's already coached a team to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but isn't Dak having a an MVP conversation kind of season, and this is the year McCarthy took over the offense. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't love McCarthy. I think he's kind of rode on Aaron Rodgers' coattails for a lot of his career.
Mhm.
But I don't know. This isn't the moment for that conversation for me.
Gerald wants results.
Sure.
All right. I'm gonna move on to my picks this week. And I'm starting out with my lock this week. I'm taking another team with a chance for a bounce back game. I'm taking the Chiefs -2.5 against Buffalo. The Bills have bounced back a little bit, but I think they're still kind of floundering, and this is the perfect bounce back game for the Chiefs, who kind of looked, they struggled a little bit in that Raiders game to start, and then they lost last week to Green Bay. I think this is the week the Chiefs start to really get back on track, and I think they'll win this game at home against Buffalo by, I think, a field goal's easy for them. Big reason why too is their defense. I think is going to give Josh Allen a lot of fits. Josh Allen, very interception prone, and this is a defense that is very good at baiting turnovers. Also, Josh Allen tends to hold the ball for a while. This is a defense very good at getting to the quarterback. I think it's a really good matchup for Kansas City. And then my underdog this week, I don't know why I guess because of the Trevor Lawrence uncertainty, but I'm taking Jacksonville -136 or +136 on the road at Cleveland. I have no faith in the Browns right now. None at all. There's no reason to have any faith in Cleveland right now. And, the Jaguars look like they're slowly getting it together. I know Trevor Lawrence is a little banged up, but I think he'll probably end up playing. And regardless, I think even without him, they can run to victory in that one, really.
Mhm.
They need to. They can run and play defense well enough to grind out a win. But that's what I got for this week.
Oh,
All right. So for my lock this week, I'm also going with the Eagles +3.5. I think that game last week and how bad it was really kind of affected the odds a little bit. And this is still a 10-2 team. It's still first seed in the NFC, and they're still playing a team that they did beat earlier this season. It is on the road, but it's in a dome. We're going to have good weather. And the Cowboys just make me nervous when they play good teams. They beat up on a lot of bad teams, and whenever they play a good team, I always feel nervous even thinking about betting the Cowboys. They can lose by a field goal in this game and still cover. So I think I feel pretty safe about the Eagles at +3.5. And then for my underdog, I'm going to be going with the Broncos money line at +124. They're on a roll. They lost last week, but they got about as close as you can to winning while still losing. It came down to the very end. And they've still won 5 of their last 6. And just in the hierarchy of the AFC West, I feel like the Broncos always beat the Chargers. They look – I don't really know why they're not favored in this game. I know the Chargers won last week, but they didn't look very good at all. So I feel pretty confident with that +124.
Yeah, even you said before the show they shut out the Patriots, but they still only won 6-0.
Yeah.
I
have no idea
on the Chargers.
I have no idea why Denver isn't favored to win that game.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. They should. Yeah, I like it. You said it was at +124.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that goes down. But all right, so we're gonna do something a little bit different this week. We're not gonna do a touchdown parlay just because we're getting our ass whooped on those. We've only hit one, and it was when we only had 3 legs. So we're going to do a player prop parlay. Say that 5 times fast. I'm going to start off with my leg. This one's kind of gross, but it's Gardner Minshew over 1.5 passing touchdowns at plus 120. He's going against the Bengals now. The Bengals just had like a hell of a Monday night like performance against Jacksonville, but I think that was just like an outlier. This is like this Bengals team. I don't think is going to perform like they did against Jacksonville, and the Colts are just like way better this year than everyone was expecting. Like Gardner Minshew's like, as much as he's not like a great quarterback, he's still giving them a chance to win. So I'm going to take Gardner Minshew over 1.5 passing touchdowns in this game.
All right. So my player prop, I don't know if you guys saw this earlier today. Chris Godwin got 0 receptions in the game last week against the who the Bucks play? Panthers. They played the Panthers.
Yeah.
So, obviously, Chris Godwin probably not very happy about it. So his wife came out today and blasted Todd Bowles and the coaching staff for, lying about his injury and don't use excuses for not getting him the ball. So, things are a little awkward right now in Tampa Bay. And when a receiver, comes out like that, because, Chris Godwin's probably behind that tweet. If he comes out like that and says, I want the ball more, typically that guy starts to get the ball more the next week. So I'm going over 45.5 receiving yards for Chris Godwin in a game versus the Falcons, which is essentially an elimination game for the Bucs. So they're really going to want to get their stars involved. So 45.5, Chris Godwin over.
Like it.
I like it. So this week I'm going to that Eagles game that a lot of you guys picked. I'm actually taking Jalen Hurts over 0.5 interceptions this week at minus 115. To me, this just feels pretty easy just because of the fact that Hurts is throwing the ball a lot more right now because he's banged up, not able to run as much. They're not calling as many of those designed run plays. And with putting the ball in the air, he does have a tendency to put the ball in danger here and there. And the Cowboys are not the team to do that against. They have been feasting on turnovers all year. And I like the Cowboys to get 1 on Hurts this week.
I like it. All right. To finish this out, I'm going with George Kittle over 48.5 receiving yards. I'm not sure what the odds are because I found this on PrizePicks, but he's absolutely crushed this number for the past 5 games. He went over this when they played the Seahawks on Thanksgiving, like 2 weeks ago. The Seahawks defense doesn't look too inspiring at the moment, and the 49ers are just absolutely rolling. And 48.5 just doesn't feel like that much for George Kittle. So I feel pretty safe in that.
Yeah. That could be 2 catches for him easily.
That's what I'm saying.
With yards after catch for him. So yeah, I like that. So yeah, I'll have that prop out. I'll try to have it out Saturday. Once all the props are able to be put together on one book, so we can get that done. So look for that on Saturday on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. Now, does anyone have any parlays that they want to give out? I do have one, but if anyone has any other bets that they want to give out tonight, go ahead.
I got one rolling tonight for the NBA.
Oh, let's see it.
So get it in quick. I got Nuggets money line at minus 105, parlayed with Warriors minus 12.5. Warriors minus 12.5 at minus 115. The total parlay is plus 265. I really like, the Nuggets being underdogs against the Clippers just feels silly in general. I feel like right now you can't really. The Nuggets should be favored against everybody. And then, Portland and Golden State Portland's clearly in the tank this year. I mean, they've made that abundantly clear from the get-go. And Golden State scores. That simple. They should be able to cover 12.5, no problem.
All right, I'm putting that in right now, actually.
I have already lost my NBA parlay for the day. So
Oh, no. Did it lose?
You know my big mistake?
Yeah.
What?
I took Pistons in the positive points. Pistons +2 is part of my parlay.
Dang.
Evergreen advice: always take whoever the Pistons are playing and take the point and take their points.
Yeah.
Anyone -15 versus the Pistons, take it. Pistons are an absolute dumpster fire of a basketball team right now.
Yeah.
This is like their 17th loss in a row. It's just brutal.
Yeah.
I got burned today, already betting Sixers -10, so trying to get back into it with this
I'm going to
parlay.
follow you on that one. All right, so I have a parlay with some pretty steep odds here. This is for college football, the playoffs for the first round, and I want to give this out now because I don't know if the odds are going to stay this way. But it's going to be for a money line and a over-under for each game, and I'm putting them all together. So there's 4 legs to this, and the first leg is Alabama money line at +100. I don't know if that's going to stay that way. I can start to see this slowly going to minus. Honestly, I think Alabama's going to get slowly favored more and more we get closer to this game, I think, for some reason. So take Alabama money line. Over 45.5 is what I got it at. I think that will hit pretty easily in this game. And then I got Washington money line against Texas. I just don't like Texas. I don't think they're that good. I think they're frauds. I think I like what I saw out of Washington. So I'm taking that money line, plus the odds were a little bit better on it. And then I also have the over 63.5 points because both these teams are going to be able to score. Hopefully Washington doesn't have a slow night, but I think that they'll be able to put up points along with Texas. Now, if you take all 4 of those legs, you're at plus 1,536. So follow at your own risk.
As our resident Michigan representation on this show, I'm on board with that.
Cool.
I think Alabama's the better team in that game.
Yep.
So
As someone who still holds a Michigan national championship future betting slip, I am not a fan of that parlay at all.
You can burn my Speaking of futures, I did have Florida State to make the playoffs as my future at the beginning. That was
I got robbed.
Yep, I got robbed. So I
Vegas,
did
pay
have,
this man. He deserves it.
I did have some skin in the game on it. I just don't. I get why they did.
Yeah.
I'm still going to say that.
But in all seriousness, like DraftKings should void that pick.
Yeah, I don't think they will, but
They won't. But like the sportsbooks should, they won't. Yeah, but the sports books should absolutely void that. That is.
I don't
That's
even
tough.
think of the betting repercussions of that screw
Yeah.
job. Everyone should be enraged about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could have hit one of my futures. That would have been cool. That would have been like one of my first big futures.
I think you probably the only one who would have hit the future this year then. Unless Michigan pulls it out, which, I want them to, so they won't.
I think you still got a shot at your Heisman future, JT. You had Penix, right?
I did,
Yeah.
but I put him behind Daniels and Knicks right now. So it's possible, but
Yeah.
But the thing he has going for him, out of the 4 finalists, he's the only one in the playoff.
that's true.
Yeah.
And stuff like that matters.
Yep.
All right. Jake, do you have any bets?
No. That's
All right.
I've got to be like for my last 15
All right.
parlays. I keep loading up Prize Picks and just donating money. So
Yeah.
that's
You're helping
Yeah.
pay out Christmas bonuses.
basically, yeah,
Yeah, that's nice of you.
yeah. They love me.
Yeah. Someone's got to pay the salary.
When I hit a parlay, then I'll start giving some parlay
Yeah.
here. But it's been a real cold stretch.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess if that's it, we'll go ahead and end the show tonight. We appreciate everyone watching, listening in. If you think I'm a complete idiot for taking the over in the Army Navy, well, I guess we all kind of took the over in this one. So if you think we're idiots, let us know about it. But I think if multiple people are on board with it, I think we can get the vibes up and we can get this over. I think we can get it. So let us know if you trail any of the picks. We want to hear that. Let us know if there's any picks you'd like us to look at. We appreciate you watching. We'll be back again next week, 9:30 Eastern on Wednesday for Week 15, and then also to tell you guys about how the over hit in that game. So thank you guys again for watching, and see you next week.